So it appears that, I mean, the practice of Buddhism is about practice. The practice of meditation is about practice. And by practice, I mean, it's kind of like thinking, you know, this is what someone like Larry Bird or Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods, they practice a lot, although they're not perfect, are they? Does does Tiger Woods get a hole in one every time he hits the ball? No. Does um, uh, what's the other one I just mentioned? Do those guys, do they get like a three-pointer every time they shoot? No. Do they get even a free throw? Larry Bird practiced thousands of them so he could get them as many times as possible. Did he get them all? No. Did Babe Ruth hit more or hit every single ball thrown at him or towards him? No. Did he get a home run with every one? No, he didn't. There's many more strikeouts, and this is where we go back to the master has failed more times than the beginner has even started. And that's the process of practice. I just posted recently a challenge, a meditation challenge, and I was surprised. Well, I wasn't surprised. I was actually, I figured I was going to get exactly that kind of feedback because people were so judgmental and so accusative in many ways to it. And I expected that, and it's fine. And that's actually a good thing because that makes me look at my own practice and look at the way that I express things and have to express them maybe in a different way. However, I don't have to own those comments, for example, or those feelings or those senses from people, and that's part of the practice. That's letting go, isn't it? And the practice, the challenge was a challenge on the four Brahma Viharas. The four Brahma Viharas being compassion, loving kindness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. Now, I was specifically going for mostly like loving kindness because that's one of the things we need to work on, of course. Because if you post anything and you get trolled, this is one of the things that you're going to have to work with and you're going to have to develop in your own mind. You're going to have to be able to let go and just send them some happy love because it's all, that's just the way it is. You're going to have to learn to ignore things. This happens in the comments of the YouTubes that I do. This happens on Facebook posts. This happens on Reddit. And I posted this as a challenge, pick your candidate you liked or didn't like and do the appropriate opposite basically meditation. So let's say you didn't like Trump, and let's say you were really upset every time you saw him, anytime he spoke, you would really, trigger some kind of emotion or some kind of feelings with you. That's the time to sit down and stop. Really, there's a stop. Let go for a second, calm down, and do some loving, compassionate, loving kindness towards him. Some understanding, developing of wisdom towards him. Okay, if you didn't like Biden winning, you're all upset because your guy didn't win and Biden won, and oh my gosh, how terrible. Then you need to sit down and do the same kind of thing, loving compassion, and maybe some sympathetic joy, which is basically, if you look at it, that's being a good sport. If you lose a game, you don't freak out and throw the table and get all mad and throw the parts around. You say, wow, that was a really good game. You just beat me fair and square. You don't get mad. You get angry, you lose. Anger always loses. And this is something that we have to practice. I practice it all the time. I mean, I had to do a year. I used to be in LA. And in Los Angeles, I would drive, of course, on the freeways. And the freeways are atrocious. And if you want to get your blood pressure up, drive there. It's an easy way to do it. And I was driving with a monk. He was driving, actually. And we were heading towards some event, and we were going painfully slow. And we were in the second lane. We weren't in the exit lane. We were in the second lane, and there was a third and a fourth lane. This was like a 10 freeway or something. And we were going painfully slow. We were still going the speed limit, but everybody was passing us like we were going backwards. And I was in the passenger seat getting really upset in my mind, and then like, why don't you drive faster, man, whatever. And I asked him, like, we can go a little faster. And he's like, well, but, we're not late. We don't need to get anywhere, by any certain time. We're just kind of like, we're going to where we got to go. We'll get there safely and how we need to go. And I'm practicing. He said, but people are cutting you off. And he said, well, no one's cut me off. They've pulled in front of me pretty close. They didn't use their signal, but that's their driving, not mine. I have a brake pedal. I can slow down when they pull in front of me. I can speed up if they come too close to me, if I can get out of the way. These are the things I can do, but I'm doing what I can. And that spurred in me how much aggression and aversion and hate and all this kind of stuff, enmity I have when I was driving. And I had to do a year of compassion training basically through them, through the monks that I worked with. And we did loving kindness, the metta bhavana, like every day. And that made a big difference. And so that's one of the things we can do as a practitioner, as someone who's practicing to practice. You're not going to be, and nobody is, a perfectly enlightened being. I'm sorry. I've been around a lot of monks, a lot of nuns, like in the thousands, and spent time with hundreds of them, interviewing and talking to them all over the world. Okay, this is Thailand, Vietnam, Japan, United States, all through the United States, all through the world actually, and Sri Lanka, etc. I've been to those places. I've spoken with them. I've sat with them. I've received trainings from them, and I've seen them lose their stuff. I've seen them get upset. I've seen them cry. I've seen them get frustrated. But you know what I also saw is because of the practice, they snapped out of it quickly. Because of their practice, because they've practiced it again and again and again. Now you're going to see many examples, and people use this against Buddhists too, because for some reason everybody holds people who are practicing Buddhism way, 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 way up there, and saying like, how dare you become angry or own a gun or eat meat or whatever. And it's this weird judgment thing when the facts are the Dalai Lama eats meat. But you didn't know that, did you? But the Dalai Lama eats meat. Many monks do eat meat. They won't have something killed for them. Most of them try to eat, vegetarian or vegan even. Really try. I mean, many, 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 many do. And that is a good example, and that's helping others do the same thing. But to hold them to this unachievable, which is going to be a whole other video, is on unachievable events and things in Buddhism, is unrealistic and really a disservice to your practice and to your philosophy, because you have to you're going to browbeat yourself no matter what, and you're going to keep finding fault with yourself every time you do something because it wasn't totally enlightened. No such thing, guys. I mean, you see these people that do presentations on video or at seminars and workshops and in their documentaries and stuff, and that's the best case scenario. You annoy them enough, they're going to flip out. Many, 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 many they're going to get flustered. They're going to get flustered and leave at least. Maybe they'll just get out of there. Some of them might, get angry at you. Now, that's not a teaching. You can't have abuse from a monk or a nun, and then they turn around and on you and try to make you feel guilty by saying, well, this was a special teaching moment that you needed to receive from a higher enlightened being like me. That's BS, and that shouldn't be tolerated. No, tolerate that they're people. Tolerate and understand that we're human, and we have needs and desires and lusts. But the idea of Buddhism, remember, is to see those happening and control them before they get out of hand. That's what it is. That's what practice is, guys. So for all the people who were trolling me on all the Reddits and the Facebooks and all of the different things that I posted, and saying I should be the one to practice and blah, 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 this kind of stuff, I practice, man. I practice a lot. And I'm a householder, so I have other duties. I don't spend all my time doing this. I spend time in traffic. I spend time shopping. I spend time cleaning. I spend time taking care of my family and my animals, and which are my family. But I take care of people. And in my job, I take care of people, but there are frustrations that happen every day, and we have to be as calm as we can, and that's through practice. If you want to practice flipping out, you're going to be really good at it, and that's the first thing you're going to do. If you practice being calm, you're going to get better at it, and that hopefully is the first thing you'll do. You guys take care of yourselves. This is Gasho, okay? I hope you guys are well. I hope you're happy. I hope you're safe. Be free from suffering. Be free from affliction. Take care of yourselves and others. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe.